And even if they're telling the truth, how is this not Hamas's fault? They took these people hostage. They started a war. Let's bring in retired U.S. Navy SEAL commander who helped run the U.S. hostage working group, Dan O'Shea. Thank you for being with us today. I've been reading your latest assessments of the situation, and pretty grave. You got some pretty sobering words about what's going on here, negotiating with people like Hamas. Let's work through the important issues. One, what is the chance that they would be faking that children and their parents are dead? Why would they do that?
Well, again, Hamas is a terrorist group, and they spread terror. And again, as you said a couple of days ago, they said that the youngest hostage taken, 10-month-old child, was transferred to another group. We know there's more than Hamas involved. There's Islamic Jihad and a number of other factions. And then 2 days later, they're now making this claim that the entire family was killed in an Israeli Defense Force strike. So, you know, it could be true, but it also could be. You can't trust anything kind of coming out of Hamas. You have to wait till this is verified. I mean, it's just horrible news for the entire nation. That child right there became the face of this, showing the barbarism of Hamas. But not only is the barbarism, the fact that they cannot be trusted. So let's hope against hope that this family is still alive, but only time will tell.
You know, I get hit with a lot of attack ads where people show me saying that Hamas has been putting horribly graphic videos of what they did on October 7th, showing atrocities. And then they cut to pictures of people who were taken hostage saying they were very nice, they were good to us. I don't buy it. And even if a few people are saying that, they did horrible things, and we all know the proof of it. They bragged about it. But in terms of what happens in captivity, Dan, reports that they forced kids to look at graphic videos. But then we see these exchanges where the people seem very thankful and chummy with their captors as being exchanged. What can be done to hostages to kind of scramble their eggs in terms of their time in captivity?
Well, you have to understand something. The entire time of captivity is one of just abject, no sense of what's happening next. You have no control of that situation. So even if these hostages, we're seeing them being escorted into the ambulance, the Red Cross ambulances, they've been underground for the last 50-odd days. So for them, the march to freedom, they're not going to jeopardize anything. And they are submissive because they've been held in horrible conditions. And trust me, there's plenty of psychological warfare. We knew in cases in Iraq, the hostages they tried to convert them to Islam. There was all kinds of mind games that were being done. There were mock executions. There would be times when they'd pull out a knife and pretend they're going to cut their heads off, done multiple times. We know this is part and parcel of what is out of the Hamas playbook, because they were part of the 1990s and hostage-taking crisis that affected Lebanon, Hezbollah, Hamas, Islamic Jihad. It's the same playbook. There's nothing outside of the realms of barbarism by this group. And trust me, those hostages are getting their first walk to freedom, probably the first time they've been outside underground in 50-odd days. So don't read in anything about them being thankful or submissive. They are just thankful that their nightmare is almost over. But until they are in good hands and back in Israel, everything's uncertain for them. And that's why you see them being so docile, if you will, on the way out of Gaza.
Understood. And last point I want you to accentuate for people is you believe that the United States and, of course, Israel and the other intermediaries have made a huge mistake negotiating with Hamas on equal footing about the hostages. Why?
Well, it's not that they've made the mistake about negotiation. It's the exposure. And I wrote this in an op-ed that was published this morning about the fact that there's been such high-profile acknowledgement that the U.S., Israel, and others are, quote, negotiating and making concessions. The problem is, once you make concessions to terrorist organizations, you've played your hand. And U.S. policy, while we won't negotiate with terrorists, it was we don't make concessions to terrorism. And President Biden making public statements about his personal role, calling the Emir of Qatar, the fact that the CIA director Burns is over in doing the negotiations directly. And Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State, making multiple statements about this and trips to Tel Aviv.
Right.
It has raised the stakes of the American hostages, and which is why we only have 2 Americans that were released. Hamas is going to hold on to the Americans as long as possible because they are their most valuable hostages, because their own government has propped them up as such by their actions.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.